Hello everyone, watch this review here with a look at the Thundercats Classic Tygra. Yes, in person he honestly just doesn't look as cool, but maybe he will look a bit nicer out of box. Now, when I first heard that they're redoing Thundercats and everything, I was really happy to learn that they were going to be doing a classic line of figures, as I no longer own my originals. Was more than a little disappointed to learn that the entire classic line was starting off as just 2 figures, which honestly is just all kinds of lame. Tygra, really not one of my favorite characters by a long shot, but they also did a Lionel, which I ordered and will have soon enough. And I can only hope that they will be doing more figures in the future, but hold on a second until I get Tygra out of box. By the way, the inner packaging has this really weird sort of ties here, which look like the sort of things you see on clothing rather than figures. Tygra comes with his sort of trademark whip, which actually is in multiple parts, as well as some instructions on how to assemble the whip, I imagine. Yeah, in case you can figure out how to assemble the whip or change his hand to the figure's alternate hand here, which is used for gripping the whip. Yeah, this is kind of weird looking. I mean, yeah, that's what they had in the show and everything, but, you know, all the same, it's just kind of weird when you see this stuff in person. Or when you look back and you think about a lot of the stuff on the show as an adult. Like when they go, "My sword is growing in my hands." I wonder what that's supposed to mean. But yeah, the whip segments can attach into this. The big drawback is the fact the whip itself doesn't have like one of those little bands or anything in it, so you can't pose the stupid thing. Kind of knew that going in though. Although, you know, you can kind of twist it if you want to like have it wrap around another character. And of course this part also has a portion, so you can kind of have a shorter whip if you use this one. I'm not sure why they didn't just sort of do everything all as one thing instead of giving us 2 separate handle attachments, but I guess it's better this way so you don't lose either this or this. I don't know. Maybe. Now, my big issue, well, a lot of people complained about the whole size thing where they're 8 inches, which means they don't really scale with anything. That doesn't so much bother me, because, I mean, whatever. Bigger, better, especially for the price point. What was it? It was $17, I think, on 17? I think it was like 17 on Amazon. More expensive in other stores, obviously. The thing that kind of bugs me is just the whole high, glossy plastic look to it, which is completely lame. I mean, given that these are supposed to be geared more as like a collector's item, they should really sort of up the ball on this. And in some regards, it is a bit better than the smaller lines. At least this doesn't have awkwardly exposed joints with a completely different color. That kind of being an exception there. Of course, the ball joint down there. Yeah, my Tygra does have that sort of a head-banging action. A lot of other reviewers did comment on the fact that it just sort of seems to slide down. Just kind of lame. In other regards, you know, it's a pretty nice looking figure. You know, it's definitely kind of up there. I mean, granted, you know, the expectations for stuff like this is just so incredibly high after waiting for it for so long, but I mean, in many ways, you know, I am kind of mostly sort of, yeah, basically happy with this figure. You know, I'm less happy with the fact that they didn't do Panthro or Chitara first, both of whom I would have wanted to see a lot more than Tygra, but hey, whatever. And of course the high gloss on the plastic portions, which again is kind of lame. I mean, if you look at it, not a tremendous amount of like paint detail. I don't think there's any real paint detailing or anything. If you look at the neck area here, it's a different paint tone than the head and everything, so yeah, they didn't match the toning. But quick run through of articulation, we have a sort of ball and socket here at the wrist, so you get the forward back motion, full range of rotation. You also get this sort of awkward looking joint, but hey, whatever. Single joint here at the elbow, point of rotation at the bicep, ball jointed shoulder, kind of mildly impeded by the little shoulder guard here, which he doesn't have in the other arm. Now you have this head joint here with the neck, which has this forward back, which is completely lame. I don't know why they even bothered doing it, especially in regards to like how it basically results in something that resembles a design flaw. Actually, what he really needs is a sort of finger like that when he's doing this. So yeah, but the head has a full range of rotation, tiny bit up and down. Mostly up and down is based into the neck section here. No torso abs slash anything up there. It's just down here at the waist where you have a joint that allows the side forward, everything side. Yeah. Then of course down here at the hips it is going straight across, so it allows him to get into better seated positions and stuff, in addition to kicking out forward and everything. Very nice joint there at the hip. Point of rotation here at the upper thigh. Double jointed knee. You have a point of rotation above the boot at the calf. Then down here at the ankle we have some pivot. And then forward back. So, you know, he's definitely has some really decent articulation and everything. I just wish that the sort of overall quality was a little bit nicer in terms of both paint and, well, mostly paint, and then this joint up here. Although, you know, from above it kind of looks like an awkward area regardless. Yeah. So yeah, let's see him actually use the whip. Again, just pull that out. Pop the other one in. And then you just toss one of the handles in there. Assuming that the hand wants to stay in. Alright, I think I've got it now. And I guess you kind of have to twist it into it reaches a you know, pose that kind of doesn't suck, but you know, I just think it's gonna be kind of an awkward thing to pose anyway, especially because it's got like this weird angle. I mean, really, if it had been like more straight or something, I think it might have looked a bit nicer, because this kind of limits to how you're actually be posing with this. You know, all in all, again, the Thundercats Classic Tygra is a fairly nice figure. For the price point, it is a good deal, only considering the fact that a lot of this stuff around the size does run you quite a bit higher occasionally. I mean, stuff like the Masters of the Universe Classics line, which isn't as tall, it's a bit more expensive, although, you know, they did cut corners in the plastic here. It just doesn't feel as expensive, and the torso feels hollow. The one thing I didn't mention, by the way, is the inner insert, this really cool looking Thundercats logo, which I might save. But yeah, I'm kind of sort of mildly impressed with this. I'm looking more forward to when I get my Lino in the mail in a few days. As for the other figures in the line, I saw some of the stuff for the small scale. It doesn't look really great, and even like the larger ones for the new series, I'm just kind of turned off by the highly visible exposed black pin joints for the shoulders and everything. I mean, they could have at least, if they're gonna have exposed joints, they could have at least like painted them or gotten the color something reasonably close instead of having this glaring black colored ones. But I completely passed on picking up the Chitara. But I think this line's basically doomed from the get-go, because like they had my local Toys R Us had, I think it was like 20 or 25 Mumras, 6 or 7 Lionos, and there was one Chitara, one Tygra for the small stuff, and it's like, I know to a certain extent it's just like store. You know, when people do stuff like that, and that's what you have in stores, I mean, who's gonna buy that many Mumras? I mean, honestly. So, I mean, eventually they'll probably end up kind of going out for reasons like that. Then, of course, the only 6-inch ones are for the newer stuff I saw were the Tigras. But I mean, eventually we'll get some of the other ones, and I think they've even been announced at this point. But yeah, until next time, folks.